The Rock, broadcasting from a van down by the river.
Now the pitch. It's a high drive, deep right center, way back. Might be out of here. It's off the wall. 1 run is in. 2 runs are in. A third man scores.
Do you want to hit like a pro? Big Flies, changing the way you play one bat at a time. Handmade, lightweight wood bats, custom designed to individual orders in Chico, California. You can reach Big Flies through Babs Big Flies on Facebook Messenger or simply by calling Kevin 530-513-7371. Big Flies, changing the way you play one bat at a time.
Hey everybody, DP here. Tune in Sundays to the West Coast Wiffle Report live on Blog Talk Radio as we chronicle all things wiffle ball.
Fast Plastic is back. The 2018 Texas Open in Frisco, Texas. Saturday, October 6th, Columbus Day weekend. Battle through 24 of the hardest hitting teams to take home the most coveted prize in the history of the sport. Fast Plastic. We're back bigger and better. $10,000 and a national championship. Register now. www.fastplasticnct.com. Fast Plastic. It's about the game.
You're listening to the Fast Plastic Radio Network. It's about the game.
And welcome to the Fast Plastic Radio Network on this Wednesday, July 25th, 2018. I'm JV alongside the host, Billy O. What's going on, Bill?
Oh, another show, another great day. How am I sounding over there?
Sounding good.
Maybe hit me up a little bit, bump me up.
How's that?
Let's see. Yeah, still a little bit, little strange, but we'll work it out.
All right.
So yeah, we got to be pushing 20 shows now.
At least that, I think. At least that. So, yeah. Anyhow, hey, I want to throw a belated birthday out. You know whose birthday was just the other day?
I don't. Who was it?
You don't?
No.
The commish.
The commish.
Yeah. Brett.
Oh,
he's going to be on the show tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook earlier. So happy belated birthday, commish.
Another wiffle player turning 60. We're all getting old. Yeah, we'll have him on a little bit later and have to give him a hard time.
And I hope that his hearing aids are working well.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell him. Like, dude, you got to go get those checked out. So how was your week?
Well, just another humdrum day or work week anyhow so far. Got a busy week ahead of me actually from today on. Supposed to be off Friday and Saturday, but that's not going to work out. I'll actually be working every day the rest of this week, so not fun.
Yeah, I hear you. We've got a busy show ahead of us. Ahead of us tonight.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, quite a few guests. Not a record by any stretch, but who do we got? You want to read off who we got coming on?
Looks like Ed Packer will be joining us tonight. Jordan Castelli, I believe is Castelli. Brett Bevilacqua will be with us tonight. And I will be filling in for Millsy doing the wiffleballtournaments.com segment. And then Joel DeRoche will be joining us also. And then later towards the end of the show, around 8:40 or so, we'll be opening up the phone lines to all the listeners to call in and hear your rants, raves, or your soapbox issues that you have. Or if you just want to call and say, hey, we love the show, we'll take that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Call in and tell us that there's some other show out there that's better even.
I don't know. Is that possible?
I don't know. But if it is, I want to know about it.
Absolutely. We can step our game up then.
So we had a few events over the past week. The much anticipated Tennessee National Wiffle Championship.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how that went.
Yeah. We're going to find out all about it with our first guest, Ed Packer, when he comes on.
That's right.
I heard quite a bit of reviews. I got some feedback from it, so it'll be interesting to hear what all the players have to say.
Absolutely.
Let's see what else was going on over the past week. Palisades had a big week up there in New York on Sunday.
Yeah.
So, and then if you remember last week, what was it? 38 tournaments or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So there was a lot of stuff going on. I didn't have the time to try to break it all down and cover it. So that's why we bring our guests on, so they can do that for us, right? Let's see, what else? Let me put my glasses on.
I'll just tell you, I'll fill in for a minute. It's always really exciting when we go live here on Fast Plastic Radio. Bill can't really see the screen like I can see it when everybody starts logging in, but the stroke is 7. Facebook just lights up over there with everybody logging on, and it's exciting to see that, and I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. And remind everybody, share the show on your Facebook page. Share it, help us grow. We had over 500 views on last week's show, which we greatly appreciate, and help get the word out about Fast Plastic and about competitive wiffle ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Just about the sport in general, and especially about competitive wiffle. And JB, as usual, I'm getting blown up over here. Texts coming in. So how about that?
Yeah, we had got a text message over here from Atlanta Wiffle. It's on Facebook. It said Richard Tyler, commissioner of the Atlanta Wiffle Association, would like to call in and speak about the tournament last week in Tennessee. So, all right, if you're listening, 840, we'll open phone lines up for that, and you can call us and talk to us about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I had something I was going to say, and I already forgot, JB.
You forgot. Oh, boy.
Man,
Gonna have to get some ginkgo for you.
Oh, I know what it was.
There you go.
Received a lot of feedback, a lot, guys, probably more than any other show, about last week's show. And Maddie Griffin, if you're listening, you pulled off the highest rated interview yet to date. Excellent job. I went back, re-listened to it, and very good, man. So you are the reigning king right now. Maddie Griffin out of Danvers up there.
Yeah, he did an outstanding job. Very, very enthusiastic. Little tongue-tied.
Well, what do you think? Are we ready maybe to get into it?
Yeah, let me get Ed Packer on the line here. He'll be our first guest tonight on FPRN. Hang on.
So I kind of screwed up here for tonight's show. I do a lot of fishing, and I was out fishing today and fell behind on my duties and prepping. So I've got a whole bunch of handwritten notes tonight, and hopefully I can read my own writing. If not, bear with me and we'll get through these interviews. Should be pretty interesting, to say the least.
All right, we've got Ed on the line. Let me get him potted up and ready to go. What's going on, Mr. Packer?
Gentlemen, how's your night going?
Awesome so far.
Yeah, very good.
Y'all want a recap of this weekend?
Well, we're hoping you can come on here and give us your tell us about your experience playing in the tournament. You were on the team that won it. So, yeah, firsthand breakdown, Ed. What do you got?
It was a fun tournament. A lot, not to sound cocky or anything, but there's a lot better competition than expected going down there. I was pleasantly surprised with that. There was quite a few teams that they had some guys who could really freaking chuck the ball. So that was good. I mean, there was a few hiccups throughout the day with logistics of things. but as expected with a tournament that is only the second time around.
Yeah.
But yeah, so first day there was pool play round robin. The one hiccup I wasn't a big fan about with that was everybody made Sunday and there was double elimination on Sunday, so the games could have really meant nothing in the long run if guys just wanted to save pitchers. But everybody made Sunday, so we played Saturday. Got out around 10:30 at night, and then the next day we went back and we had an early start because of the forecast. It looked like it was supposed to be torrential downpour all day. The night before, there was hurricane warnings all throughout the area. It poured rain, but we got there. And I mean, the fields weren't really in terrible condition. I honestly would prefer playing in wetter conditions because everybody knows standing around in 99-degree weather with 100% humidity kicks your ass. So,
yeah, JB was going to say something.
I was going to ask you something, Ed. You guys were in Tennessee, right?
Yes, sir, we were.
Like the Tennessee Valley area?
Yeah, so we were in Harriman, Tennessee, which I believe is about 45 minutes west of Knoxville.
Okay. And you said you were under a hurricane warning?
I'm sorry, tornado warning.
Oh, okay.
So there was tornado warnings, but
Gotcha.
Tim Stewart, the gentleman who was running the tournament, assured us that there's no chance a tornado could get into the valley.
Okay.
Yeah, for a second there, JB, I thought it was one of those infamous inland hurricanes that I've heard so much about.
That's what I was thinking about.
But yeah, the night on Saturday night, we had rain Saturday during the day, and it was kind of sporadic, but it opened up and it was nice. But Saturday night, once everybody got back to their hotel, it was torrential downpours all night. And we got back to the fields on Saturday, and they seem to have handled them well.
Yeah, that's too bad. Not much you can do whenever Mother Nature decides to open up on you, you know. So you just got to battle through it and do the best that you can in the worst situation.
But so I mean, I was very pleasantly surprised with the competition that we had there. There's a team out of Atlanta, Chicken and Wiffles, that were playing. We ended up playing them in the finals of both formats, and they were very competitive, scrappy team. I mean, our game was kind of a pitcher's duel and fast pitch, but the games that I'd seen leading up to that, some of their guys could rake, and they had guys who were throwing that looked pretty quality and could bring it. There was another team from New Jersey, young college kids, New Jersey Lemonheads, and they had a pitcher on their team who I believe was 19 years old, and he threw, I think, 7 games throughout the weekend for them in fast pitch. And when he was done, he didn't look like he was gassed at all, and he was bringing it. Yeah. So we talked to a few of those guys, and we're trying to get them to come to Texas, because come to Texas and you really see the best of the best, I believe, at least, where you kind of see where everybody kind of comes out.
Yeah, and you get a true national presence, you know, so you're gonna
I mean, that's the best part about it. I mean, you got teams from California, we got guys I think from Phoenix coming this year, Massachusetts, Florida, Georgia. You have everywhere in the country where these other tournaments that kind of try to fight for the overall best competition level and say they're top notch, they don't really have the whole national presence yet.
So what was your take, or what did you think about the base running?
Base running kicked my ass, because it's tough when you're hitting and then you got to get out of the box and you got to run it. Everybody knows how tired you get from playing in a tournament. Now trying to run all day and then come back the next day and do it again, kind of get your legs out from under you, and that's what you need in a tournament, is you need legs under you. Because I found myself near the end of the tournament trying to almost get out of the box when I was swinging, almost like a softball player. And it was for me, that was something I did back when I played baseball. I was more of a slap hitter. And I got frustrated with myself because that was happening. I felt like I was missing balls just because I felt like I was falling out of the box trying to get down the base pass before I even hit it.
Right. Yeah, I know what you mean. It definitely it can cause you to get a hitch in your swing, even, I think, if you're not used to it. But
yeah, I mean that's how I felt. I mean, I felt like I missed a few just by a half inch, and I fouled it back, or I just missed it. And I kind of look back because the only thing that I do want to praise them on is I kind of want to praise Will Marshall on is he was all over live streaming games throughout the entire weekend. So it was nice being able to go back that night. Like, hey, let me look at this at bat from earlier in the day, and okay, I know what I did wrong. I can see that I pulled out a little bit, or I looked like I lost footing, or I was trying to get out of the box too early.
Yeah. So you guys won. We got about about a minute and a half here, Ed. You won. Tell us what'd you take home? What get you a trophy? Or?
Yep. So the trophy, actually, Josh Pagano told us. He said, "Hey, I have a trophy case back at home, and I'm missing one trophy, and I just need a trophy to put there. So if we win, can I have it?" And we said, "Absolutely." So on Saturday we won the yard tournament, which was only about a little under $200. Friday night I had won the home run derby, which was about 170, and the fast pitch was 1,500. So I mean, put it at 1,500. I'm not a math guy, I'm a gym teacher, so I'm not too great with math. So probably $1,700-1,800.
Yeah, pretty good. Not bad.
Not a bad takeaway.
Well,
yeah, I mean, and it was good because we got to go out and play with.
Yeah, always. Well, thanks for coming on and telling everybody about the National Wiffle Championship. We appreciate it. Are you
all right, gentlemen?
Are you back in Florida now?
Yeah, I'm back in Florida. I'm actually in a Best Buy right now looking for a TV.
Well, good luck.
All right, gentlemen. I'll see you guys soon.
All right, Ed. See you.
Have a good one.
This is Ed Packer, defending Texas Open champion, and you're listening to 93.5 WROC The Rock, home of Fast Plastic Radio.
Absolutely.
He brought up home run derby there.
Uh-huh.
Everybody needs to make sure they tune in next week here
big announcement
here on the FP Radio Network. Big announcement, like JB just said. Home run derby next week.
I'll tell you what, give me a minute here and I'll get our next guest on the line.
All right. So you're listening to the Fast Plastic Radio Network. Comes to you every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central. If you think you'd like to come on and talk about your game, your tournament, your product, whatever it might be, you can send me an email at fastplasticnct@gmail.com and tell me what you got in mind, and we can probably schedule that. Or you can message JB over here on the boards on the Facebook Live and tell him what you got in mind. So anyway, don't be shy. Let us know what's on your mind, and love to have you on and talk some whiffs.
Absolutely. Welcome to Fast Plastic Radio, Jordan.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. This is Jordan Castelli, the current NWLA MVP. How's that feel?
Oh, it feels great.
Yeah. So a lot of guys that listen to the show, of course, are the extreme fast pitch guys, may not be too familiar with NWLA and the players. So I kind of want to start off, Jordan, talking a little bit about your sports background and maybe anything, baseball career-wise. So you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I played baseball my whole life, all the way through high school. And I also played football my whole life, and now I play football. I'm a quarterback in college. I'm going to be a sophomore in college And we played baseball with the whole team, like our whole life, so we're constant with each other.
You ever match up against any former big name players or guys that have moved on to bigger and better leagues?
In football, I definitely have. I'm just starting running back at Penn State next year, Miles Sanders.
Okay.
And kid in our high school is now playing in NFL, Mike Hall.
Okay.
Just for football. And then we played in baseball, the first round pick. He's on the Minnesota Twins now.
Yeah. Nice. So where are you located? You in near Pittsburgh area?
Yeah, we're in Canonsburg, PA, about 20 minutes south of Pittsburgh.
Yeah. And you participate in the With His Life League on a regular basis. So how many years have you been playing?
We started the league 5 years ago, and I've been in it all 5 years. Played in the summer all year, and then the fall and winter tournaments that I play in every year.
Is that something you look forward to, or just something kill time?
We look forward to it all the time. When we're at college, we all text about it. We look excited for it.
Yeah. So I was at the NWLA championship, and I watched you pitch a few games, and so I've got some questions about that. But one thing, with you being a quarterback, football player, I was thinking about, some of the questions I'm going to ask you. And I know you've got to have a process to prep yourself before a big game, playing football. And I'm wondering, do you have anything like that whenever you play wiffle ball, or do you see it as a, way to take your mind off bigger and bigger things, and so whenever you're going into the NWLA tournament and you're getting into the later rounds of the playoffs, did you have some kind of a prepping process to get you geared up?
No, I didn't really anything, but I mean, for me, I know that I have the confidence, and then you'll, like, if you think you're going to lose, then you're probably going to lose, but if you stay confident, you'll play much better than thinking you're going to lose. That's what I do. Yeah,
stay positive, focused, have that vision, visualize. Yeah, right. So you said, you play in the With His Life League. What about other wiffle ball tournaments? How many have you played in, and what's your success with those?
We went to nationals last year. We won the Dangerfield bracket. Then we went to a fast pitch tournament when we were about 14 years old. We lost in the championship to Freaky Franchise, which we played the first round in Double Elim. And those are the only tournaments we've been to. So we're kind of new to the scene of tournament.
Yeah, I had Austin Berger on last week, and talking a little bit about how you guys have formed this traveling team based on your league, and you guys are getting out, seeing what else is out there. So what's the farthest now that you've traveled to play? Is it the NWLA tournament?
Yeah, in Michigan. That's our farthest.
So,
and actually, we've played in a Mid-Atlantic tournament about a month ago in New York, PA.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing
that was a screw or a scuff ball tournament. We've never thrown scuff ball. We're mostly a clean ball team.
Did you personally have trouble throwing a scuff ball?
We didn't even throw a scuff ball. We threw clean balls there.
Oh, I see.
It's much different hitting.
Yeah.
It's tough ball than regular ball.
Yeah, absolutely. So with you being a football player, you got a throwing motion, your delivery. As I was watching, I noticed you throw the clean ball. You're coming over the top, much like a football motion or delivery, and your release point seems to be way up here. And I'm wondering, do you think your pitching, wiffle pitching, benefits from that?
Well, I guess it does. Just it's different compared to everyone else, and the hitters really haven't seen it like a football motion. So I'd say it probably benefits me in that way.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it does because it is very foreign. Mostly wiffle ball pitchers are down, coming submarine or 3/4 or lower. So, yeah, you are coming from a different release point altogether, and the ball's got strange movement on it. So I can see that being the case. Have you had any lingering effects from throwing? How many innings did you actually throw? Or how many games?
I don't know how many innings I threw, but I pitched in, I think, 4 games. My arm was sore for like the next few days, but after that, I was fine.
Yeah, ice and all that stuff, or do you just let it be?
Yeah, we iced it. After the first day, the pitchers iced it, and then we were ready for the second day. Then we iced it after that, and then we were good after that.
You think you could have thrown a third day if it was necessary?
Third day would be trouble, but I probably could have pitched another game the second day. Third day would have been rough.
Way back years ago, 90s, some tournaments, big tournaments up there in the Northeast used to go 4 days, some of them even a week long. That's why that
would be rough.
Yeah,
that would be rough.
That's pretty.
Need a lot more pitching.
Definitely, it's pretty extreme. So the NWLA tournament, you got to use the yellow bat, and swinging that bat is very awkward for me personally. How does that affect your game or your hitting? Do you see it as being a nuisance or just no big deal?
Yeah, it's not really a big deal to me. I mean, played baseball my whole life. Pretty about the same. Like, you just practice with it and you'll get used to it. We practiced a lot in the summer, got used to it, and then we were confident going with those stats.
Yeah. What I was trying to find your hitting stats from the tournament, and I ran out of time. I couldn't find anything. Do you know what your numbers look like?
I was hitting like 385, 3 or 4 home runs, I think. On base was pretty high.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess I've hit pretty well.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So looking back at the tournament, at the NWLA championship, I mean, obviously your team won the championship. You take home the MVP trophy. But looking back, what would you do differently? Anything at all?
Kind of tough to change because, I mean, our outcome kind of went all our way. I felt things fell our way. So probably wouldn't change too much. Probably nothing at all, actually.
There's no big-time hitters out there that gave you trouble? Maybe you'd have a different approach to them, or...
For me, pitching, it was just if I was on the strike zone or not. That was not a big problem. A player from Skibby, he had my number. I forget his name, though.
So what was your pitch... what were your pitches? You're throwing that overhand curve a lot. What else were you mixing in?
Yeah, I mostly throw that. I have a sidearm pitch that I really didn't throw, and I have a changeup that I didn't move throw. It's just most of it overhand.
So basically, you just keep offering that overhand curve up, and you're just challenging the guy. Say, here it is, guys, hit it, and why change it if they can't hit it, right? You just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
motto.
That's the way you do it. So a lot of guys up there, 16-team tournament. Where does that rank as far as, you being an athlete? You played football, you played baseball. Where does that rank for you, that overall experience winning that championship that weekend?
It was a great experience. It's probably one of the best in my sports career. I mean, we were a really good baseball team. It's the same atmosphere, about the same for those games. Football, probably a better atmosphere. I mean, definitely as a quarterback, like all eyes are on you, so that's probably a little better atmosphere.
Yeah. I know there's
that's probably...
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Wiffle, that's probably second behind football.
Okay. Well, that's pretty good then that you rank it up there that high. I mean, the reason why I'm asking, I know some guys, we've had a few on the show, that have been professional athletes, and sometimes their approach to playing wiffle is kind of lighthearted, maybe not as serious as some other guys. So that's good to hear that you put it up, high like that.
Yeah, we take it pretty serious.
Yeah. I know there's a tournament coming up in Cannonsburg, right there in your backyard. I think it's a Mid-Atlantic tournament coming up. You planning to play?
Yeah, Mid-Atlantic. No, I will actually not be there. I'll be at football camp at college. I leave way before that, so I won't be able to make that.
Okay. Well, I guess that's where your championship run comes to an end there then.
Yeah, but we'll have a team there. I just won't be there.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. All right. So last question. So we're talking to Jordan Castelli, the NWLA champion and MVP. So I saw a picture. You had the MVP trophy. Where is the trophy right now? Is that thing sitting in your lap? You got it up on the wall already? Where is that thing?
It's in my room with next to my football record. So they're all together.
Very cool. Very cool. You'll have to get a picture of that and get it out there for guys to admire.
I got the All-Star Game MVP. It's right there too.
Oh, really? I didn't see that. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, Jordan, appreciate you coming on the show tonight, man. It's good to talk to you, and I wish you best of luck in football this year, and maybe get you back on sometime in the near future.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Have a good night, Jordan.
You too.
All right. Good interview, MVP there. He sounded like he had a good time there. Good game.
Yeah. Yeah. He was evidently he was the man up there. He did it all and took home all the bling from the tournament, which is it's kind of the way it goes in a wiffle ball tournament. Usually you got one guy that just steps it up, and when he's on, and you're just not going to beat him.
Absolutely.
So anyway, Jordan Castelli, the NWLA MVP.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have Brett Bevilacqua on right here on Fast Plastic Radio. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the Fast Plastic Radio Network. Fast Plastic Radio Network.
Burl's Chainsaw Shop. Tired of your mama's steak knives? Use a chainsaw by Burl for all your ball stepping needs. It's faster.
Hey everybody, DP here. Tune in Sundays to the West Coast Wiffle Report live on Blog Talk Radio as we chronicle all things wiffle ball.
You're listening to the Fast Plastic Radio Network.
I am Adam Milstead, and my favorite station is Fast Plastic Radio.
My name is Inigo Montoya, and I listen to Fast Plastic Radio.
This is Babs from Chico, California, and Big Flies, and I listen to Fast Plastic Radio.
This is Sylvie Serrano, Oakland, California, and I listen to FP Radio.
And Carl Coffey.
I'm Jim Ballion. I'm from Peoria, Arizona, and The Rock is my favorite wiffle ball network, hands down.
Jared Lamp, founder, owner of Moonshot Bats, Fast Plastic Radio Network.
Fast Plastic Radio Network. It's about the game.
Welcome back to the Fast Plastic Radio Network. I'm JB alongside Billy O, and we have Brett, the commish, on the line.
Yeah.
Hello.
Is this the birthday boy?
Well, it was yesterday. You could have moved the show up a day.
Hey, we started the show out with a belated birthday wish.
I heard that. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That was very kind of you guys. And hello, Bill. Hello, JB. How are you guys tonight?
Doing great, Brett. How about yourself?
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. So this week in Palisades Wiffle Ball, Palisades WBL. So the second segment of our ongoing series here on the Fast Plastic Radio Network. So you want to get right into it, Brett, and tell us about last week, what all went down and what we got to look forward to?
This past Sunday.
Yeah, we have this big break between we basically played June 24th, and then we didn't play again until July 22nd. It's been a long time thing that we have this month-long break. I don't think we're going to do that anymore, but it basically turned into, with the break, there was like no hitting. So it's our week 7, which is the one time we play in July, was basically a hitter's nightmare. I'm just going to look over something really quick. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 shutouts out of a possible, we play 11 games, so out of a possible 22, there was 15 shutouts. It was an absolute disaster. There were a whole bunch of games that ended total base games 0-0 after 6 innings. The Giants swept, but neither the Brewers or Giants scored a run in their doubleheader. There was only 2 runs scored in the Royals-Padres, and that was by the Padres in the first game. The Padres swept. The Diamondbacks didn't even show up. We had to throw a minor league team in, and that turned out to be 2 mercy rules with shutouts. And the Expos took care of the Pirates. There was only 1 shutout out of the possible 4 in that series. And then Dan Whitener put on a show for the White Sox and threw a pair of shutouts, beating the Mariners and beating my favorite team, the Dodgers. And then the Dodgers took care of the Mariners with, of course, a shutout. So things have tightened up a lot in the league. Right now, due to the Giants beating the Dodgers earlier in the season in a 1-game series, they have the league lead. It's basically by that 1 game. So both those teams, Dodgers and Giants, are 10-4. Right behind them is the Padres and the Cardinals at 9-5. And 6 teams get into the playoffs. There's 8 more games left. So there's the Mariners, Royals, Brewers are all 6 and 8. There, 2 of them might get in, but there's also the Expos and White Sox are 7 and 7. So there's kind of a logjam right now for those last 2 spots. But absolutely anything can happen. But usually, I like to put it, week 7, that July date is usually the week of disappointment. The batters are off. Everyone's out having a good time, sitting poolside drinking margaritas, and they forget about practicing. And then they come in and everyone goes basically 0 for 5 in every game. So it was a disaster. So that's what I got. I'm looking forward to we'll be playing again in 10 days. And there's a few good matchups, and hopefully the game of the week won't be as our game of the week did. It almost did. I mean, it still beat just about every other game, live stream of wiffle ball. But I think we only did like 800. Maybe it's up to 1,000 now. I was so disgusted I didn't even look. But I had a bunch of I had a lot of technical difficulties. I almost started inviting all my real estate clients because for some reason my Facebook would only connect to my real estate Facebook. So
yeah,
everything that could have went wrong essentially. So, but at least it didn't rain all day, but it did rain.
Well, when I had Tim McElrath on the show a couple weeks ago, I was talking to him about how I could see these major pitching matchups coming and these top teams colliding, and I kind of foresaw this of these incredible pitching duels. And he was playing it down, not to hype it up too much, take it 1 game at a time like a player would do. But my question to you, Brett, would be this. If a trend like that was to continue, let's say next week, the guys show up or the next tournament league date, and you again have 8, 10, 12 shutouts, would you start looking at maybe making adjustments in the league to try to slow that? No,
it's wiffle ball. There should be tons of shutouts. This is, if you don't want shutouts, there's plenty of other leagues you can play in where both teams score 20 runs. The games take 3.5 hours. 50 guys get walked, and you could do that. I am of the mindset that if a game takes longer than 55 minutes, and in regulation, and you don't go to extras, that something's wrong. I think wiffle ball games should be, it's one big hit in my mind. I mean, I'm sure people will disagree with me, but games should be 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1. We shouldn't see these high scoring games, lots of offense. It's just the wiffle ball is baseball in the 1960s. The mound's tall and guys, you know, even though we don't have a mound, but it's all about striking out guys. And then for the batter, it's, you know, you get your 4, 5, 6 looks at a pitcher, and hopefully you get lucky in the late innings, and that makes it exciting to me.
Yeah, well, you know what a really easy adjustment would be? You get out there with your bagging push mower and you cut the grass like 1 inch.
I had, this is another part of the problem. We lost our sponsor. I don't want to get into why. It wasn't anything of our fault. But he used to cut the grass, but they never cut it that low because they're more of like a commercial operation. So their mowers are set at like 2.5 inches. I have cut the grass with a push mower. It takes me, I know how long it takes to cut a wiffle ball field with a push mower, and it's a half an hour.
Yeah.
But I used a big commercial mower. I made a call to a friend. He dropped off a mower, but I couldn't lower it anymore. So the grass was really tall, and it made for less interesting play. But we have played on, I would say, 1 week. I probably set it up where we were at 5/8 of an inch. I'm a little salty at the school district. I pay a lot of money to play there, and they have, I don't think they've held up their end of their bargain with cutting the grass. And so why I cut it at 5/8 was I was like, here you go. I'm just going to burn out all the grass, and then I won't have to deal with this again. And then, of course, it started raining, and then it rained and rained more, and now the grass is 3, 4, 5 inches all over the place.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't able to watch any of the games. I was out fishing, and but I'm going to go back and watch, and I missed out.
It was a good game. Those two guys, Connor Young and Ryan McElrath, that was a pitching matchup. If you didn't watch it, go back and look. If you're someone who loves high caliber wiffle pitching, you will get everything you want. You won't get a lot of hitting, but and if you're someone who's trying to learn the game and figure out how to maneuver around what are some pretty damn good hitters, those guys put on a clinic.
Yeah, I bet they did. It'd be some good good tutorial video there. Where can, if somebody's listening right now and they want to watch it, how can they get to it?
Just go to Facebook and search for Palisades WBL. You will find us.
Very good. So when's the league's next date, next game day?
August 5th.
August 5th. And is there an announcement yet for game of the week?
I'm still mulling it over. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm disappointed with myself for my technical difficulties. I guess the fans, they didn't come out in the droves that they usually did. So it was, and we had a special guest at the field, so I wanted to impress him, and I kind of came up a little flat on that one. But you know, it's part of life. You can't always win. So I'm not sure who it's going to be. I could, if you want me to announce it now, let me look at the schedule.
No, you don't have to. We can save it for next week's show.
Wonderful.
Yeah. I don't want to put any more pressure on you than what we have to, you know. You got enough on your plate.
Well, I don't play anymore. There's no more pressure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's pretty exciting, you know, that the pennant race, so to speak, is tightening up there, coming down the stretch like I thought it would. So,
yeah, August is always awesome in the Palisades. If you're, I know we have a lot of people, especially younger kids, that follow and they get into it. And I mean, fortunes change on a dime in August. July usually screws someone up, but it's where July, I basically said, is where the Cy Young and the MVP is lost, and August is where your playoff hopes and dreams go to die. So that to me is, it's almost the best time of year. I like nothing better than September wiffle ball. So, but August is pretty damn close.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's excellent. That was this week in Palisades WBL with Commissioner Brett Bevilacqua. Now I want to shift gears for a second. Brett, if you're good with that.
Yes.
So I've been kind of perusing through some of the leagues and tournaments that are out there, and I'm seeing there's a lot more of this going on than what I realized, and that is 2 strike counts, 5 and 6 ball counts. So these guys are manipulating balls and strike counts, and I'm trying to figure out what the thought process is, why they are doing this, and are they thinking that it's making the game better? So anyway, I figured it would be a great opportunity to talk to you about this and get your input.
Well, I can start with what I do, which will be the easiest for me to talk about before I go off the rails with talking about what other people do. But I made a documentary in 2008, and it came out in 2009 on wiffle ball called Yard Work. And I went all over I think I drove 18,000 miles, and I forget how many tournaments I went to and how many leagues I saw and how many events. But the one thing I noticed, I watched one tournament in particular with a ton of great players, and I watched a guy just walk after walk. And I'd seen him play earlier in the year, and he was exceptional. But maybe the moment was too big, and maybe, who knows. But the one thing I don't like is walks. So I instituted, when we started the league, because we sucked, a 5-ball count, and we still walk people. I don't want to see people in our minor league. It's a little bit of an epidemic with some of the newer teams. The bat just stays on the shoulder if you throw anything faster than 65 miles an hour. And with the way we play, it's the bucket of balls. Even, you're never going to have the same exact, you're always going to have a few duds in your bucket. So to alleviate that and to try to limit the walks, I instituted this 5-ball system. And I don't think I would ever change it. I know it smacks in the face of professionalism and the baseball that we try to emulate. But for me, if there was never a walk again, I'd be excited about it. And coming from me, who I haven't played this year, I played about a half a season last year, and I think I was just, my last couple of years were dreadful. But I think I'm still pretty near the top of the league in all time in on base. But I'd love to work a count to see what someone has. I know there's some guys that want to pull the trigger first pitch. I like to, if I can get a pitcher to throw 4 pitches before I really, make my mind up to, I'll always wait and hope for a cookie right down the middle for the first pitch. But if I'm not getting that cookie, I'd like to see a little bit of his repertoire, and I'd certainly love to wear down, one of these big studs. When you see them sweating, it's in the 5th inning. They've gone full counts with all sorts of people. I love that, because then you're going to get what the pitcher is going to mentally, they kind of break down and they're like, I just got to get one over because I'm dragging and I'm never going to get through the end of this game. And that's that extra, in our case, the extra ball makes guys at times they have to work more instead where you would just end up walking. They're able to bail themselves out on a 4-2 count. I know it sounds weird, but that's what I really like about it. And it is basically because we stunk when we started. We know we have a lot of first-time whifflers, at least in our minor league system, not too many in the big leagues now the way that it's all worked out. And just, again, with the bucket of balls, there's always duds. And where we initially started playing, why we would have never used 1 ball was right behind our home plate was if you're familiar with the New York and New York City area, their pricker bushes here are they're everywhere. And where we played right behind home plate was you could get your shirt ripped off trying to retrieve 1 ball. So that's why we said buy as many balls as you can, throw them in a bucket, and we'll just throw them. And in the winter when everything dies, we'll go find those ones that are deep in there and anything we can scoop out.
Yeah,
I know I'm a bit long-winded about that, but that's where I'm coming at with the 5-ball.
Yeah, and with that, guys, that's the end of the Fast Plastic Radio Show tonight. We'll talk to you next week. Yeah, I get it. You made your point, and I tend to agree with a lot of it. I got a little bit of a different take on it. I think guys do this. They manipulate the count because they think that for the most part, a batter is just going to stand there with the bat on the shoulder, take. And they're wanting to see guys swing the bat. And second of all, there seems to be some kind of a fear or worry that pitchers are going to blow their arms out. So they're giving them more leeway on the mound, expanding the ball count. And I think that's the wrong thing to do in both directions. You should not manipulate the count. It should remain the same as baseball. And if you have those concerns or worries, then enlarge your strike zone. If you go back and you look at Major League Baseball, or for that matter, any competitive baseball league, you'll find that as umpires have expanded their strike zones over the years, the offense goes up because the players understand their approach has to be more aggressive. So you're seeing slap hitters, with averages going up. You're seeing balls being sprayed around the field. Adds a lot more action to the game. When the umpires tighten the zones up, then what do we see? We see high strikeouts, we see lots of walks, and we see more home runs in the league. Less.
Can I interrupt for a second, Bill?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a huge Yankee fan, and I hate the Boston Red Sox. And Chris Sale's strike zone is about 4.5 feet by 6 feet tall, and he don't give up that many hits. I've seen umps call pitches that have been out of righties batters box on lefties for that guy, and that's what. And even last night, Tanaka got the Sale zone last night, and he threw a complete game without giving up a run, and he was getting stuff 5, 6, 7 inches off. Well, not 7, but 6 inches off the plate. So, and I guess what you're saying though is when the batters know. I mean, at this point, everyone should know there's a bunch of pitchers in the major leagues that their strike zone is ridiculous compared to the average player.
Yeah, right. I mean, you're always going to have, a handful of pitchers that are out of the ordinary, but for the most part.
Why wiffle ball is great. We have that strike zone.
Right. And, looking back at even our history of playing this game, when the strike zones were big, or bigger, I should say, it was a little bit different. We had a lot of very inexperienced players coming up, and they wouldn't know when to swing, when not to swing, so they left the bat on their shoulder. But for the most part, your better players were up there hacking because they understood that zone's huge. I got to protect the plate, whatever it took, put the bat on the ball. So I would just like to see these guys go away, probably more so from the 2-strike count rather than the 5 and 6 balls, because you just gave us an example of having all these shutouts from your, last week at Palisades. While I'm a former pitcher, I truly appreciate that. But for the most part, people that are entering the game, they don't get that aspect. They're coming into our game looking to hit the ball, especially hit home runs. And anything we can do to inject more offense into the game is greatly needed. And when you're up there, when you're facing an ace pitcher and you've only got 2 strikes, it's just almost impossible to try to work that pitcher, to get into a situation, into a hitter's situation. So I really don't like it.
Yeah, I'll get to the 2-strike, but to defend Palisades, once we get towards when it's make or break time or the playoffs, you will see the first round. I guarantee you will see games that are 4-7, 5-2. You will see offense probably in every playoff series except for the finals, and then it'll go back to not as tough as what it was this week, but it's more. I think we're going to see a lot of offense in the playoffs. Is basically all I'm trying to say. It's this more. What happened Week 7 was the 30 days off. That really, everybody's timing is off. Everyone was off. Even unless that you were playing like the Cardinals, who played basically a minor league team, were the only ones who were centering up the ball, but they were getting, you know, cookies right down the middle.
Yeah.
And all right, but the 2-strike thing. Now, I've played in never fast pitch 2-strike, but I've played a lot of medium pitch, and I don't like it at all. It does get you, you know, more amped up and more puts more pressure on you to swing. But what we've seen. I watched the Dan Whitener-Steffi championship game in Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah.
And it's basically with 2 strikes, that's, you know, that's just going to be strikeouts all the time. And then when the McElrath went down there, you give those guys who start every count with a strike, good luck. That's a tough deal. I don't like it. I know some guys are into it, and even as an ex-pitcher, I would think it would take some of the pressure off my arm. But then when I have to bat, I would feel against the. You know, I was always a guy that loved to work the count. I love to see a pitcher sweat. So that's for me. I wouldn't feel I'd get him, you know, getting up a good lather. If he hits the zone on the first pitch, I'm 0-2 with 1 pitch. Oh man, that is.
Yeah.
That would upset. I'd throw bats. I'd knock stuff over and curse, and then probably cry in the corner. So.
Well, we got about a minute left here. Like I said, I honestly believe all you need to do is expand the strike zone, and I'm not saying, you know, by leaps and bounds, maybe, you know, a couple inches here and there, and it will make a huge difference. It really will. So last word from you.
I'd be nervous to make our strike zone any bigger. I think our strike zone, if it's not the biggest, it's near the biggest in the, we're 24 by 28. So that's, you're 27 by 23?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So we've got a little more real estate than you do. So, and you guys, you know, we probably have where we play is always been lately. The new place is Cottage Lane, where we've been the last 6.5 years. It's very windy. It's always swirling. It changes throughout the game. So that's why our old place, there was no wind. So we didn't really have an excuse other than we were not as good back then. But yeah, that to me, I wouldn't make the zone for where I'm coming from any big.
Yeah. Well, I agree.
I'm no help, Bill. I'm sorry.
No. You're right. I wouldn't suggest you changing yours. I mean, I have no intentions of ever changing Fast Plastic, but I'm saying for these other upstart leagues that we're seeing where they're doing this, they might really consider doing it. So,
well, I think before you let me go, I think what we saw in NWLA is if those guys don't scuff, that tournament is going to be an arm destroyer. Because I watched a kid who I know can crush the zone walk. I think he walked, K-Snub walked like 400 people in that tournament, I think. Yeah. I don't think I don't think he has as many walks in 2 years as he had in one weekend. So he's a pretty accurate pitcher, and I don't think the moment was too big for him there. So that clean ball thing, some guys are good at it. But, I saw a lot of guys, you'd see a strikeout, then a walk, then a hit, then a walk, then a ground out, then a walk. And that, it was, for me, it was tough to watch.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up right there. Thanks for coming on, Brett. And we look forward to this week in Palisades WBL next week with one of your players, hopefully. So we'll talk.
Yeah. Thanks, Bill.
Yep. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, JB. See you.
All right, Brett Bevilacqua, the commissioner from Palisades.
Yep.
You know what time it is?
I don't know. Are we running behind schedule, JB?
We're almost, but this is what time it is. Best way to tell the world about your upcoming tournament is Fast Plastic Radio and WiffleBallTournaments.com. WiffleBallTournaments.com is here to help you locate tournaments all over the nation and find the ones closest to home. If you know of any tournaments that we don't have listed, let us know. We're here to help everyone, players and directors alike. Spread the word, wiffleballtournaments.com. You can contact wiffleballtournaments.com, w2bwiffle@gmail.com, wiffleballtournaments.com. And I'm JB in for Millsy from wiffleballtournaments.com. And Millsy says we've got 35 events across 17 different states and 2 different countries going on this coming weekend. I'm going to hit the highlights. I'm not going to name them all, but I'm just going to cover the highlights, okay? So, yeah.
I wonder if you could get through all those if you did it in auctioneer style.
I don't think I can do that. I'm not an auctioneer, but
all right,
I can try. All right, starting off, Cedar Park Fast Pitch Tournament, Cedar Park, Texas, Saturday. We've got Golden Stick Wiffle Ball League, Danvers, Massachusetts, Saturday, and All-Star Games Sunday, medium pitch scuff ball modified bats. Also, East Coast Wiffle Ball League, Week 7, Winthrop, Massachusetts, Sunday. It's a fast pitch scuff ball modified bats. Modified? Yeah. Also, this weekend, JAL 18 opening day, Castle Rock, Washington, Sunday. Fast pitch, 1 pitch per at bat, unscuffed Ripken bats. I don't know what a Ripken bat is.
It's just a plastic bat named after a former player.
Okay. And then we've got the AWAA/Crew Summer Slam, Albany, New York, Sunday. Pitch speeds depends on mound, unscuffed, modified bats, run the bases. And then the last one I'm going to bring up, it's not one of the highlights, but I wanted to bring this up because I thought it was cool.
Okay.
The Tourney Wiffle Ball in Guatemala. It's on Saturday. So if you're going to be going down south of the border there, you got a tournament you can get into Saturday.
What's the capital of Guatemala, JB?
I don't know. What is it?
Well, when you're not sure, you just say Guatemala City.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I used to know at one point, but not anymore.
Well, hopefully I did Millsy justice. He's off at a soccer game or tournament or something. I don't know. World Cup. I don't think it's World Cup, but he said he's gone to play watch soccer. So I don't know if I was as good as Millsy, but if you've got tournaments you want listed, be sure and go to wiffleballtournaments.com and send Millsy a message about it. He'll get it put up on his website, and he'll talk about it right here on Fast Plastic Radio Network.
Absolutely.
All right. So now we're ahead of schedule.
Very good. Good. We can take a little breather here for a quick minute. Oh, so yeah, on some of those tournaments, Tim Dean's got a big tournament there coming up. That was a Cedar Park, so check that out. We had Jimmy Cole on a couple weeks ago.
Right.
You mentioned his tournament, the AWAA, coming up. So guys, get out there and check that out up there near Albany. And if you can, make that trek to Guatemala, right?
Absolutely. Make sure you take your water with you, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no kidding.
And as always, make sure you share the show on your Facebook page and leave us some feedback. We're going to get our next guest on the line here. So I'll be right back with you in a minute, Bill.
So I'm still working on next week's show, getting some guests in. One guest coming in will be Babs, Kevin Babler from Big Flies. As JB mentioned earlier in the show, you definitely want to tune in. We've got some news about the Home Run Derby at the Fast Plastic Texas Open coming up this October. It's pretty exciting. So Babs will be on to talk about that. And I've got a couple other leads out there for guys to come on. Should be very interesting discussion with these guys. So stay tuned for that. Up next, we got a guy, you may have heard of him, Joel DeRoche, coming on. Joel's been around for quite some time, been playing since about 2002. Is no stranger to Texas, no stranger to winning. Should be a pretty good discussion here. Later on, we're going to open up phone lines for people to call in and tell us what they got going on. Tell us some stories, good stuff, bad stuff, whatever you think you need to call in and talk about. Guys, around 8:40, we'll get you in here.
All right, we've got Joel DeRoche on the phone. What's going on, Joe? Welcome to Fast Plastic Radio Network.
Hey, JV, Billy, how's it going, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you bet, man. Good to have you on. So what are you doing, Joel? Hanging out watching reruns of MASH?
What's MASH?
Yeah. Oh.
No, actually, man, I was actually just going over some, looking at some wakeboard videos from the other day when I was out riding around. So
Yeah, how's that going for you, the wakeboarding scene?
it's going awesome. I'm still able to progress in ways that I thought I wouldn't be able to. So until I kind of stop seeing constant improvement, I'm just gonna keep trying to go and push as hard as I can.
Yeah. Are you still on the pro tour or however that works? Is that still? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still on the team. I guess the way to like put it in baseball terms is I'm on the team. I may not be in the starting lineup, but at least I made the roster this year. So looking forward to competing in another professional competition later on in the summertime. And just been working on like instead of the competing scene, a lot of it now is geared towards, of course, social media. So a lot of video stuff and pictures and stuff like that is always a good way to keep improving your stock, let's say, within the company that you're riding for.
Yeah. So if somebody wanted to go out and watch you in one of these events, where would that be?
So a lot of the events are held at it's called a cable park. They're actually really popular. They got a bunch of them in Texas, sort of up southern states. And if you can imagine like a skateboard park with a lot of jumps and rails and stuff like that, except there's a cable system that runs over a gigantic oval of water, and it's got all these different jumps and rails and stuff. And the cable system just kind of pulls you in constant loops around this park, and you can just ride as much as you want, fall whenever. And the competitions are held at specific parks throughout the nation. So it could be, I'm fortunate to have two of them near me in the Sacramento area. And so the Pro Tour comes to one of the cable parks near me, and I have the opportunity to at least not have to travel that far and go compete against the best riders come from all over the world.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I think years ago when I actually used to watch ESPN, I think I watched a couple of those on ESPN. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You ever been injured doing that stuff?
I've experienced actually more injuries wakeboarding than I ever have in any other sport I've ever participated in. So yeah, I've taken my fair share of bumps and bruises, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'll bet, man. There's some crazy flips and twists and all that. Yeah, I was pretty adventurous whenever I was younger, but I don't think I would have ever tried to do those type deals on water.
I was fortunate at least to get going. I was a little younger and a little braver, at least to first try anything like that. If I would have started later on in life, I don't know if I'd be so willing to put my body out there on the line so consistently.
Yeah. Well, let's get into some much anticipated wiffle talk here.
Awesome.
So I was trying to figure out, what would be some good questions for you. A few things come to mind. One thing that kind of stood out to me going back, looking at your playing career, you've been highly competitive in this sport since 2002. You and your brother Ryan are probably what I consider to be two of maybe four players in the history of Fast Plastic USPPBA that have been a threat to win the championship every single year. I mean, and that's no exaggeration. I even went back and I looked at where you guys finished in the tournaments every year. And I think the lowest was 17th out of, 500 teams that played in that one season. So that's saying something. But if thinking about, all those past seasons, was there ever a time where, the season's about to start and you just kind of like, I'm just not into it that much this year. Maybe I won't play.
I can't ever remember feeling like that ever. I love just playing, regardless of. I love just competing to begin with. It really doesn't matter, but I look forward to every single year. I always thought that my brother and I and us, whoever we were with at the time, I thought we would be super competitive, and I thought we could compete against anybody, anywhere, at any time. So I always look forward to playing against all the best guys from all over the country, especially, going to Texas and stuff like that. I felt it's always been a blast, and I always look forward to it.
Yeah, it's just something that a lot of the guys, there's a couple hundred of us out there. We all share that, it's in our blood, and you can try to shake it, but it takes a lot to lose that, so, but going back, you look at, for me playing on the team with you, 07, 08, 09, GSW, the Golden State Whifflers, had a pretty amazing run there in those 3 years. 07, lost one game to Top Gun. It was at the NCT. In 08, we lost to the Las Vegas Whifflers earlier on in the year, and then we got knocked out of the Sweet 16 by Doom, which was a nasty game that I think I still have nightmares about that one.
You got it.
So, over the course of 3 years, GSW, I think, maybe lost 5 games total. If you can, talk a little bit about that run, and in your opinion, the team's approach to each game, to put together a string of wins like that.
First off, I think the four of us, you, my brother, Mike Cross, myself, I think by nature, like you were saying, it's in our blood. We're just super competitive to begin with. I feel like every game we went into, no matter if I threw or my brother threw or you threw or Mike threw, I felt like we could win. I felt like no matter who we faced, even if we were down, I felt like we could always piece it together in the end and figure out a way to manufacture a couple runs when we had to. That run was crazy. I remember you talking about it a while back, and I'll never forget that loss that we suffered in the NCT. My brother pitched that game, and he was just giving up hit after hit, and I was just out there livid. I didn't want to lose one game, whether it was a qualifying game or whatever. I just remember just being on his ass the rest of that game. Like, come on, let's get it going. Let's not get dominated right here. So
yeah.
It's funny that you bring that one up, because I still give him a bad time about that one, how he ruined our perfect season, and we would have been the only other team besides the A-Bros to ever do that.
Yeah, it would have been, right. Yeah, and that game was the Top Gun game. I think they had Boomer and what was the guy that won the Leahy, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
And the guy that won the MVP that year, oh man, I can't think of his name. But yeah, that was a good team.
Hitter, right?
What's that?
One guy that could really hit for them.
Yeah, he was a hitter, definitely. But yeah, Ryan was out there and he was struggling through it, and it was rough. But yeah,
come on, really, struggling is being nice. Come on now.
But you look back over all those years, though, I can't ever recall another game like that one ever. So that was a
yeah. We had really good chemistry. I thought. I with all the other guys that we ever played with, I mean, we played with some super talented guys, some of the best guys that I've ever played with. You know, whether it's from Mark Martello to the Shields brothers to Chuck Hensley, a lot of those guys are Hall of Famers in my book. But you know, for whatever reason, the cohesion that my brother and I, and then with you and Mike coming aboard, I've never experienced any type of chemistry like that, no matter what form of baseball, softball, wiffle ball I've ever played. So it's awesome to look back on that and realize how special that was at that time.
Yeah, well said. So then after a 10-year layoff, or so, you know, close to 10 years, maybe 9 years, GSW, you guys show up at the Texas Open last year.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on players today compared to, say, 10, 15 years ago? Are you seeing anything new that's catching your eye? You know, is the talent level better? Is it the same? Anything like that catch your attention?
A lot of change-ups. The change-ups that they're doing now where they stick their finger in the hole, I've been messing around with that, and I don't know how they're getting it, but that pitch, I saw a lot of those pitches, and I mean, I can remember maybe back when we last played, like, you didn't really see a change-up, I don't think, from too many people, or at least effective ones and different types of ones. So that was like one of the first things that really caught my eye, because we faced a 3 or 4 different pitchers that thrown some pretty nasty changes, and I thought that was just a super effective pitch. But I think the talent level overall is just as good as it was, you know, when we last played.
Yeah.
I was expecting a tough battle, no matter who we played against. I knew it wasn't going to be easy. It's never easy going into Texas, and that's honestly what makes it so much fun, is because, you know, if you get to the end, you earned it. You for sure earned it.
Yeah, that's what I pride myself on, is doing everything I can to make sure we get the best players, best teams that show up. And I know, you know, now we've got Jonathan King that shares that desire, and he's doing everything he can to ensure that. So this year is going to be no different. We've already passed our total number of teams entered from last year, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's incredible. And shout out to Jonathan King, man. He welcomed us with open arms, and we couldn't be more appreciative. And for all the support he's put out for the Texas Open and football in general, it's incredible. So it's awesome. It's an honor to play in the tournament, knowing that he's backing it.
The big question that everybody's wanting me to ask you is, how is James Loney doing?
I thought about shooting him an email one time and being like, man, you remember, you know, my little squirt looking munchkin ass, looking up at you and trying to talk crap to you on national television. But, oh man, I still to this day, I get people that'll send me a random text or a random email of the video and be like, I never knew. And I always tell them, I'm like, you know, go on the YouTube page and just scroll down to the bottom and read through all of the comments that people leave about me. My buddies still text me to this day of good ones of people, you know, clowning on me and making fun of me. So I laugh at it, but hey man, I can't still thank you enough for giving me the opportunity to do that.
I'd say, Joel, I've read those quite a bit, watching that video, and I read them, and I always get a good laugh out of them. Of course, I liked your attitude towards him too when you were sizing off, you know, doing the size up there too.
And I went on the other podcast, if I'm saying it wrong, correct me, Billy, but the two Wiffle dudes, or
yeah.
Okay, I went on their podcast and tried to square that whole thing away about, you know, them kind of telling me to act that out in a way, and some of it was kind of scripted, and them telling me how to act and how to say this and that. So Billy knows I'm not that type of guy. He came to my defense. So
yeah, Billy. Definitely. Yeah, that was that was tough. I was there in the studio for that shooting and seeing how they were trying to lead you, you know, to get these certain results. And I didn't really think that was cool, you know. And then the one thing that the producers, whatever they're called, did is they pulled the strike zone away, so you weren't throwing to a target, you know, and that one kind of bothered me as well. So, but the end result is, you know, I think maybe you tell the story. So originally they had this concept of a baseball, what it's like to hit a baseball pitcher and what it's like to hit a wiffle ball pitcher, I believe was the original concept. But then once they realized what they had in you, your talent, the way you could throw the ball, they completely rewrote the script. Isn't that correct?
I believe so, because I want to say that they were supposed to have Jake Peavy come in and show them, you know, he had a really nasty breaking ball. So I think from what I remember originally, he was going to come in and show like the break of a breaking ball or a curve ball versus, you know, the drop or whatever they wanted to feature with what I was throwing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds about right. And so yeah, we get in there, and I remember they brought in some bullpen catchers and some a couple college players and a minor league pitcher, and they were all just watching you throw, and they were amazed, like, wow, man, what is this, you know? And it was just incredible. But the whole sequence where finally Loney gets that hit off of you, that was all pretty much scripted, where in my opinion they did that because they didn't want a major league ball player coming in there looking really bad, and he would have looked really bad if they would have unleashed you, you know. So
yeah, they made one of the, I don't know exactly who the guy was, but he made it a point to come out to me and say, hey man, do you mind, you know, easing up on this one? We need to get a shot at him actually connecting with one. So, you know, you can blatantly see it. You know, I know a lot of people, that's the first thing they'll always tell me. They'll be like, you know, the one that Loney hit, you know, you can definitely tell that you kind of just lobbed it in there to him.
Yeah.
So, and I tell them the same things, like, hey man, I was instructed to do that. You know, I understand why. It's just, you know, I guess that's showbiz, right?
Yeah, and I think that's the one where there's not even a strike zone for you to throw to.
You got to think about it. You can't fracture his ego either.
Well, right.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, I'll let you tell the story. I mean, this is what people don't know, but behind the scenes, Joel reared back and fired a riser, I think, and Loney leaned in.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that? That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, so during the course of, you know, this was before I had to lob it into him, and they actually gave him the yellow bat, the banana bat at first, and I gave him 2 or 3, 4 of them, you know, to try to hit with that yellow bat, and I stopped and I said, hey man, you know, this is what we use, and it was a loco bat, and I was like, you know, you're gonna have a better shot at hitting it with this one for sure, you know, and so I fired one in there, and he fouled it off actually, and it hit him straight in his eye, and he went down on the ground, and at first I thought I nailed him in the eye, and I didn't think he fouled it off. So all as I see is he had probably 4 to 6 assistants run out to him to make sure that he was okay. They were already on the phone, like if they had to call the hospital or, you know, emergency or something. But his eye was bloodshot red. But I just remember like so much attention being brought to him because he got hit in the face with a wiffle ball.
Yeah.
And that was probably, I would say that's probably the moment that probably stuck out the most out of that whole experience. I mean, so it was pretty funny.
Yeah, and if you go back and you watch that video, guys, if you look closely, you'll see they zoom in on him, and you can see one of his eyes is bloodshot red.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy about that, Joel, is all the years that I've played this crazy sport, I have never seen anybody foul a pitch right back into their face.
Right, and I thought that's why I thought that I hit him at first.
Yeah.
Because for whatever reason, I guess I turned my head and didn't look the pitch all the way through. But I just know seeing him on the ground and all these people come running up to him, and I was like, oh man, I screwed this up.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience, and we were sitting out in the green room in the tent outside, and we got to meet a pretty interesting dude out there too. You want to tell us who that was?
Was that when we met Amari Stoudemire?
Amari Stoudemire, right?
Yeah. He was shooting, I think, was he shooting a shoe commercial or like a Powerade or a sports drink commercial, I think they said?
Yeah, I can't remember, but that guy was huge, man. We thought Loney was big, man. Stoudemire was something else. He was really nice.
Yeah, he was, and that was when he was like still like super dominant in the NBA. I want to say.
Yeah,
he looked every bit of it when we met him that day.
All right, well, those are some awesome stories and memories, and that's still to date. And I say this: that video, as far as wiffle ball videos go, will never be surpassed ever. It's just unbelievable the number of views on multiple channels.
Yeah, it's pretty. Like I said, I got super lucky. Again, thanks to you. The one thing that I made sure that when they put all that together, I definitely had to have the team there and my family there because without all you guys, of course, none of that would have went down. So.
Yeah, well,
awesome experience.
All that too leads back to old Rich Ewald as well. He gets a lot of credit for that too. He was, he somehow, I forgot exactly how it all went down. I'll get him on the show and let him talk about that. Anyway, we'll move on here.
Definitely.
Going back to the really old days, I like to talk a lot about the old USPPBA in the early days of the Fast Plastic Los Angeles region. And that's where that was your coming out party, to this super competitive sport. So I'm curious, as a youngster coming into that USPPBA region where we had former champions, a lot of really, really good players. Here you are, this young teenager coming out, and you were instantly successful. What was that like for you? Did you come into that thinking this is actually pretty easy? Were you ever intimidated? Just tell us a little bit about that, if you can remember.
Yeah, I still remember like it was yesterday. I had fresh gotten done with playing my first year of college baseball. I had a friend of mine that went to he was a yard ball tournament. I think they had it in San Jose, I want to say. I think it was one of the ones that Mike may have been associated with. But he went out there anyways and played, and he knew that I had played wiffle ball. And he's like, man, you got to go check out these tournaments. You got to check out this league. Like, these guys don't mess around. He's like, it's awesome. And I was like, cool. So I searched you guys. It was USPPBA at that time, and go online, find out that there's tournaments down in Southern California. We originally named our name the Shockers because we honestly thought we were going to shock the world and win the whole thing in our first year. We were still, I guess, that cocky and arrogant to think that, but we got served a humble slice of pie our first tournament down there, and it was the best thing for us because it gave us even that much more motivation to come back and be better every time. And that those tournaments in Southern California at that time, it was like going to Texas every time we went down there. No games were ever easy. No games were guaranteed. You saw everybody's best pitchers almost every single game, and it was a dogfight both days that you played out there.
Yeah, it was tough, man. I'm not going to go through all the players and big name pitchers, but there were at least 16 teams that were all super competitive, and but you, it just amazed me that you and your team, and especially Ryan, with him being younger than you guys came in and just had an immediate impact. And I think you may have finished third in the region that year, which is really saying something, so quite an impact.
Yeah, it was. I think maybe we just didn't know any better. We didn't, I guess, maybe know the talent level that we were playing. Of course, we definitely found out. But I think kind of not knowing what we were walking into kind of helped us out in a way, because we just played like we always did in our backyard or amongst all the neighborhood friends and stuff, and it didn't really seem any different until we really started getting into it.
Are there any players or teams out there, or a single player that you consider to be your biggest rival over the years? I know you've had some classic battles with like the Gunners and Vegas and others. Anybody stand out?
Always the Gunners, just because we played them so much. Derek, Gary, those guys are awesome. They always brought their A game. They always were going to be super competitive. They could talk trash with the best of them, which always made it fun. And I would say maybe, Mark Martello, Sylvie, Brenner, all those guys. We battled, them so much over the years that, they were always great competition. Joe Nord, he was probably one of the toughest competitors that I've ever played against, just because he fought always to the very end. And I think the same of Josh Pagano as well. Every time we play him, it's tough. And he's one of the best. So it's always fun just to compete against the best talent that the sport has to offer.
Yeah, definitely. Those are Hall of Famers right there. Definitely.
I would think so.
All right. Last week, Matty Griffin was on the show, and I asked him this question, and I think it's important that I ask players like you and Matty and others, what advice would you give to these younger players that are coming up into the sport today, that are 18, 17 years old? What would you tell them how to improve their game and boost their longevity?
I always hear people, either saying that they want, football to be considered a professional sport. I think that that's the case. Then if you want it to be considered professional, you gotta take it and treat it as if you were a professional in it too. And that's everything from the marketing to taking care of your body, to dedicating a lot of time towards your craft. I think the one thing that always helped us, and I know that helped me and my brother, was we worked at it every day. We pitched to each other every day. We would field grounders every day, pop flies every day. It was just a constant battle to get better. And if you can't embrace that, if it's a struggle for you to get out there, then maybe this isn't something for you. But I think that if you can just dedicate a lot of your time to your craft, you'll see the results that you want to see. And like I said, a lot of that goes into, I think the one thing that's helped me along the way is getting involved into the fitness industry and the fitness world and taking care of my body, just like a professional athlete would. I think that's the only way that you can kind of extend your career, that and being able to kind of recreate and reinvent yourself, to keep up with all the young talent coming up in the game.
So for those younger guys, cases of beer and double cheeseburgers, probably not the way to go, right?
I wouldn't recommend it. If you can stick to the lean protein after 7 p.m., you're doing all right.
So you're what, 36, Joel? 36 years old?
I am. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, 36.
36, but it's still like you're 24, 25, so you can see it pays off, guys. Listen to what he says. That's a guy that's been playing a long time. Last question for you. This one comes in from one of our dedicated listeners. He wants you to talk about the video you made in the Carolinas, the second video. Wants to know about that video. So what can you tell us?
So we had the opportunity. We were actually going to be on Tosh 2.0, or I forget the name of that show, where he would just show a lot of blooper reels from YouTube. And we were originally going to be on that show, but for some reason, I think Steffi or somebody made it on that show.
Yeah, Sean Steffi, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny, you know, a lot of years later I found that out. But anyway, so instead of going on that show, we went and some people flew us out to North Carolina. They were making just like a little video that they would play like in between innings at a baseball game, just for entertainment purposes. And so they wanted to do a bunch of wiffle ball like trick shots. So we were throwing wiffle balls through, you know, like 3 or 4 hula hoops. We were throwing it like underneath and in between each other's legs and hitting the strike zone. And then their real big one, their monster idea that they had was to light a candle and put it in front of the strike zone, and to have the ball just clip the wick of the candle and put it out as they were kind of filming it coming like head on. And so, I mean, it's Ryan, fortunately enough for me, drew the card on that one. So, I want to say, well, he hit it 2 or 3 times, and we thought he got the shot. And they want something precise and specific and exact. So I mean, I want to say it took him at least 45 minutes to an hour to hit that single pitch to get it to barely hit the wick and put the candle out.
Wow. So did that
and
thing?
So after.
Oh,
sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that video, you know, it's got to be fairly obscure these days because I've still yet to see it. So
it was supposed to be aired in 20 to 30 MLB stadiums, and they were going to also air in 20 to 30 minor league stadiums. I know that we went to Oakland Coliseum to go watch the A's, and they played it during the game. We were able to film it from our seats. Unfortunately, I never received a copy of it, and the lady that I was in contact with disappeared from the company, and I can't track her down to save my life. So,
yeah,
obtaining a copy of that, I don't know. I've been, like I said, I've been trying for a couple of years.
Well, if anybody listening out there tonight knows how we can get a hold of that, get a hold of me or get a hold of Joel. Let's get that. That'd be a good watch.
Please.
All right, Joel, great interview, man. It's good talking to you, and looking forward to seeing you soon.
Always. I appreciate the time and the opportunity to come on, Billy, JB. Thank you.
Yep, you bet, man. That's the great Joel DeRoche, the 2007 Fast Plastic Cy Young Award winner.
Absolutely. Great call there. A lot of great history with Joel.
Yeah, he's
I would say if you've not seen the sports science video on YouTube, you need to check that out. That's on the Fast Plastic YouTube channel. It's pretty phenomenal to watch.
I know a lot of guys that I've talked to over the years that have no affiliation with playing this game, and they have no knowledge of me ever playing it. And somehow we'll get in a conversation and I'll bring that up and I'm like, oh yeah, man, that was pretty cool. And then when I tell them my connection to it,
right,
they don't believe me.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back from the break, we're going to open the phone lines for the listeners. I'll get that number posted on Facebook. So if you want to call in, you can do so. So stick around.
You're listening to the Fast Plastic Radio Network. Fast Plastic Radio Network.
Now the pitch. That's a high drive, deep right center way back. Might be out of here. It's off the wall. 1 run is in. 2 runs are in. A third man scores.
Do you want to hit like a pro? Big Flies, changing the way you play one bat at a time. Handmade, lightweight wood bats, custom designed to individual orders in Chico, California. You can reach Big Flies through Babs Big Flies on Facebook Messenger or simply by calling Kevin 530-513-7371. Big Flies, changing the way you play one bat at a time. Camacho's Kazoo. Call Camacho's today and learn the kazoo. 1-800-2-KAZOO. is back. The 2018 Texas Open in Frisco, Texas. Saturday, October 6th, Columbus Day weekend. Battle through 24 of the hardest hitting teams to take home the most coveted prize in the history of the sport. Fast Plastic. We're back bigger and better. $10,000 in a national championship. Register now. www.fastplasticnct.com. Fast Plastic. It's about the game.
You're listening to the Fast Plastic Radio Network. Fast Plastic Radio Network.
And we're back on the Fast Plastic Radio Network. And you know what? The Fast Plastic NCT is just around the corner.
It is. I believe we're 72 days out to the actual tournament date. However,
Absolutely.
registration ends, I think we may have about 40 days, 41 days remaining to register.
And we're still at $151, right?
Currently, $151 through the end of this month. Goes up to $200 beginning in August. So get registered, guys. Get your players. Get registered. If you got any questions, let me know.
Don't want to miss out on it. So if you don't get registered, you're going to be sitting on the sidelines watching the game. So,
ball boy.
Yeah, you get to look at my smiling face. So we're going to open the phone lines right now. You want to call in and talk to myself? Nobody wants to talk to me. Everybody wants to talk to Bill. But anyhow, it's 618-200-9260. Hits us right here at the Fast Plastic Radio Network studios. Phone lines are open.
What's the odds on getting calls tonight, JB?
I'm going to say 10-1.
Really?
Yeah, really.
And I wouldn't mind getting out of here a little bit early tonight.
I'm for it. I'm 100% for it. We'll see what happens, though. So I see you've got the Two Wiffle Dudes podcast network.
Yeah, Joel talked about that.
Absolutely.
He was on there a while back. Get over there and listen to those shows, guys. Pretty good stuff.
Make sure you check out the West Coast Wiffle Report.
Say that 10 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be sure and check that out. And we've got a call coming in right now.
Oh, there you go.
Fast Plastic Radio, you're on the air.
Hey, this is DP.
Hey, what's going on, DP?
No, it's just calling in to give an opinion.
Oh.
All right, lay it on us.
Actually, it's more of a suggestion. First thing is Joel always forgets about the home run I hit off him the first time we played against him, but we'll let that go.
That may be a show within itself right there.
Yeah. Great sports rivalries.
So what's on your mind?
Well, I love all the videos everybody puts out on Facebook, all the wiffle ball videos. It's amazing, all the games. And the ones that are common with the commentators, I was just going to have a suggestion that they actually use the people's names that are pitching and coming up to bat. Maybe they don't know their names. I don't know. I'm assuming they do because they play with these guys quite a bit. But it's so hard to follow who's who in these games. And I never know the score. I can never figure out what the score is. It's just like being at a game. You can never figure out the score there either. But I don't know who Mr. Lucky is or whatever their nicknames are when they're coming up to play. Here comes Billy Boy, and I don't know who that is. I had a hard time even. Will Marshall was pitching, and I couldn't figure out who he was. I was like, man, this guy can throw. And eventually I realized that's who it was. But that was just to suggest anybody's out there listening that broadcast these games. I'm sure they're listening. That they're just a lot more interesting when you know the names, and gives us the ability to start following some of the players a little bit better too.
Absolutely, I think that's a good call out, good suggestion there. It's kind of like the guy we had on last week from the Has-Beens. he does an outstanding job on calling the games and putting up the information and the scores and stuff.
Yeah, Ty McDowell.
Yes, Ty, thank you.
But yeah, you're right, DP, that as we're going to see more and more of these videos surface, we need more details, guys. So,
yeah, people calling in. So,
all right, I'll let you get to your callers then.
all right, DP, thanks for calling in.
Great show. Thanks again.
Yep, have a good one.
Take care. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, phone lines are back open. If you were trying to call in, go ahead and try calling again. We are here, and lines are open. So we had two callers calling in while DP was on the line. So again, 618-200-9260 right here. And here we go. Let's get back to the phones. Fast Plastic Radio, you're on the air.
Yeah, hi, this is Rich Tyler from Atlanta Wiffle.
Hey, how you doing, Rich?
Doing great. How about you?
Not too bad. So you wanting to talk a little bit about that game down there in Tennessee, right?
Well, yeah, and I can talk a little bit to speak about the last caller. The turn, because we helped run the tournament a little bit. We went up there and helped Tim Stewart. Me and Tom Gannon. He pitches in Palisades and a number of other leagues up north. But he came down and played with us, and that was a great time. But he and I helped him put the tournament on, and so it's just getting started. And so basically all of that sort of live streaming stuff and the commentary, that's just on the fly. And Will and Bryce from the Huntington League in West Virginia, and Will from Texas Wiffle, they did a great job. They're really funny, and they're always a blast. But yeah, the tournament as a whole was a lot of fun. It was great meeting all those Wiffle legends and great all-stars. So I thought we competed well, and we basically came up one pitch short. They got one and we didn't in extra innings, and that's how they won. And it is what it is. But we had a great time.
That's great. It sounds like it was a good tournament. Ed Packer said he had a great time there in Tennessee.
Yeah, there were teams from all over. There were a couple of local teams, I had some really good talent, and they competed. And, we brought a pretty good team. We had Chris Harley on Championship Sunday, so that was great. He was the 2013 NWLA MVP. You had that guy on earlier, Jordan. So that's what Chris was back in the day, and he's still a horse. We basically just came up one pitch short,
Absolutely.
That's the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
Is there any truth? I heard a rumor. It could be way out there, but any truth that tournament may change venues or a new location, more accessible, anything like that?
Actually, I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, we've been talking to Carl Waldauer. He played in the tournament last year, and actually he hit a 3-run homer off of Chris to beat us in the semis last year. But up to the Muscadine, North Georgia team. So ran back Corey Pitts and a few other guys. So, Carl is the director of Parks and Tourism for North Augusta, South Carolina. And so that's right across the river from Augusta, Georgia. And so he's got access to a number of fields. And we're talking about doing something there possibly. And that would be a big step up from what it was.
Yeah, definitely. That's a little bit more of a destination type location as well, so.
Yes, exactly. And we're going to try to do some stuff to get the games over earlier next year. That way some guys have some time to go out and hang out with each other, network, some teams can get together, go to the bars, play some golf even possibly. So we're going to try to get all of that factored in and really make it a better experience every year from here on out.
That sounds great, Richard. We appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, we'll have to get you back on the show sometime and set up a segment with you if you're up for that.
Oh, yeah, sure. Anytime. Just give me a call. I'll give you my number. I'll send you a message on Facebook or something, and we'll do that anytime.
You want to send it on Facebook Messenger, that'd be great, okay?
Awesome. You guys have a great night.
You too, man. Thanks for calling in. All right. That's the commissioner, Richard Tyler from Atlanta Wiffle League, I believe is what it was.
Yeah, great call.
Absolutely.
Thanks for calling in, man.
Lines are open, 618-200-9260. Go ahead and call in. We've had a couple people calling in while we were talking to callers. Unfortunately, I can't take more than one call at a time, but we're working on upgrading that.
Tell them a little bit more about what you were telling me earlier, about
Oh, we're just working on possibly upgrading the studio equipment a little bit more, going to a different console for all the audio to go through, which will allow us to maybe go up to 2 to 3 phone lines here in the studio. So we'll be able to get multiple callers on at a time and have some really, really good discussions going on.
Will it ever be possible we can get it to go up to 11?
Well, this one goes up to 12. No.
Oh.
Again, lines are open 618-200-9260. We've got 9 minutes here. So if you want to get your call in, go ahead and hit those keys on that phone and start calling.
Yeah, call back, guys. We want to hear from you. We know you got something to say, so here's your chance. Get in on the show, the Fast Plastic Radio Network.
Absolutely. I was hoping to hear from Road Toast. You know, he said he was going to call us and tell us about it. Maybe this is him calling right now. Let's find out. Fast Plastic Radio, you're on the air.
What's going on?
Look, there it is. It's Road Toast himself.
Oh, you
So what's on your mind tonight, Roy Toast?
Well, if it was Roy Toast, it'd be a different.
Oh, wait a minute. We got
down from Texas Football League.
Oh, wait, we got this. Oh, my bad.
JB.
No worries, JB.
JB's butchering the names tonight.
I
boy.
tell you what.
Butchering the names. How we boys doing tonight?
Oh, we're believe it or not, the phone system's blowing up over here.
We're
tonight.
doing great, man. How are you? Sorry about the butchering
Oh, I'm
there.
doing great. No worries. No, I'm doing great as well. Yeah, it's just lines are hot tonight. I tried calling in a couple times, and they were on fire. I couldn't seem to get on there. It's like a waiting list of 20 people to get on tonight.
Well, guess what? You made it. You're on. What do you want to talk about?
There we go. Oh, well, I know Billy and I went to NWA tournament a couple weeks ago, and then also, we were at I went to Tennessee this past weekend, and so I just wanted to call and give an update. I know, Billy and I have been out there, so might as well give everyone a call and let them know how.
Yeah. So, what was your take overall from the NWLA there, Will?
I thought NWLA was a very well-run tournament. As far as, the fields went, the bracket went, everything, the organization of the teams, it was very professionally done. Umpires added another element to it I never really even thought about for wiffle ball. But I think from a player perspective, I think they had some talent there that was definitely potential. Some of these guys had some really good pitchers and some guys that could just flat out hit, that could definitely play at the next level. And, if you give them a scuff ball or you give them a big barrel bat, it's a completely different game, right? The only thing that kind of concerned me about it was that the guy you had on the other week, he had said that, they in their league, they don't play with a wiffle ball. They don't play with, they play slow pitch or something like that. And this is the first time he picked up a wiffle ball and he went out and won it. So, whether you want to call it just coincidence because he's a great athlete kind of thing. And, they just had a high caliber team or something like that. But, it's just part of the system, right? When you're playing in a style of play that's limited by the tools you're using, I think it's just difficult to crown someone a champion of a tournament like that. If you got everyone playing a system, where guys have been playing years and years and years, and all of a sudden someone who's never played like that before can come in and win it. It kind of threw me off a little bit. But I mean, they played great, so no one outside would have ever known that guy was a first timer. If they were just watching it. So. I mean, props to Will going out there and winning the championship, but that definitely threw me off a little bit.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I appreciate you calling in and talking with us tonight about it, man.
Yes, sir. Of course, baby.
All right. You have a good night.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right.
Take it easy, Will.
All right. Talk to you later, Billy. Bye.
All right. Lines are back open. If you've tried to call in several times and you've been not answered, they are open 618-200-9260. Feel free to call us right now and give it another shot while the lines are open.
That was Will Marshall, commissioner of the Texas Wiffle Ball League.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah. Well, it kind of sounded like Roy Toast for a second, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
Yeah, Will's been traveling around, taking in a lot of tournaments, a lot of scenes around the country. So that's good for him.
Absolutely.
Be kind of like a roving reporter almost.
Yeah. Man, he's like I don't know, is he always that? He's like amped up. I mean,
he's just real positive, real easy going.
Fast
fun.
talking is what I'm getting at, amped up.
Yeah.
I mean, very, very eager. Here we go. Here we go. Fast Plastic Radio, you're on the air.
Please, it takes so many calls to get in tonight. It's popping, isn't it?
It is hopping there, Toast. What's going on?
I am about to eat some supper, getting in late tonight. Wanted to call in. Packer wanted me to call, so here I am.
This is
tournament if you want to.
Yeah, this is actually Toast, right? We don't have you confused with somebody else.
No, this is him this time. This is the one. I was calling in, so I'll get JB off the hook, so I can see where the confusion happened right there.
I appreciate that, clearing my name for me. So tell us about that tournament.
Anytime. Oh, man, it was an awesome turnout. Got to see some young studs out there, some guys throwing some unorthodox balls. Kind of challenging in that part. The venue was pretty nice. I mean, I never played in the mountains before. We had a really good team. Played with some guys I never got to play with before, like Josh and Fisher. And Packer. Me and Packer have been going head-to-head for years now. So it was kind of nice to get a break from having to strike them out to playing with me, you know. And Scott Bragg rounded up the lineup. But, I mean, overall, we played really well. We went undefeated on the day. Not to say we weren't tested at times. But, yeah, I mean, I had a blast, man. I think I pitched pretty well. I hit very well. Ready for Texas.
Good deal. Good deal. And you guys were saying, you know, a couple weeks back on Facebook here during the show, talking about you going to come down there and show them how to play. And it sounds like you guys did it.
Well, they taught us a little something too, you know. I mean, it's not about how many studs you can get on a team. If you get some guys together that are willing to compete, you know, and believe they can play with anyone, anything can happen. I mean, that last game, like Rick said earlier, anything could have happened. We lucked up.
Absolutely.
Did how many innings did you get in throwing wise?
Oh, I want to say I threw 11 innings, maybe 12.
What about Bragg?
I want to say Bragg threw about the same. We all, I think we all went 2 games, fast pitch. Pagano went 1, actually. Fisher threw a couple, and he threw all a yard league. I mean, it was like he was 20 out there again, man. He was having a blast. We were running bases. Everybody was slipping and falling everywhere. We had a lot of fun.
No issues.
Yeah,
no issues. No issues with Pagano and his Achilles or his ankle from.
No, none whatsoever. He's 100%. He looked phenomenal out there. I think he may have went with a no-hit bid. The only base runner they got was when they hit a ball to Fisher. I was yelling 1, and Josh looked to first base for the first baseman to catch it. Fisher hit him in the side of the head. So that was the only base runner they had that game. And my 11 innings, I think I threw 11 perfect innings. I didn't walk anyone. And I think Bragg threw a no-hitter as well in both of his games.
Outstanding.
Pitching was very, very good.
Good deal. Good deal. So, would you be? Are you going to go back to the next tournament they have?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I encourage anyone else, you know, come on out. I mean, show the guys some support. Let's grow this one as well. I mean, I like to play more than once a year, you know, and that was kind of the closest tournament to me. So I shot up there and got some fast pitch in.
A lot of guys traveling to play wiffle ball these days. It seems like it's coming back.
It is, and hopefully next year I can get something a little bit closer to me, so I ain't got to go as far.
Yeah.
We'll work on that there, Billy.
Yeah, right.
All right, Toast, I appreciate you calling in tonight. We're at that golden hour where we got to cut loose.
Sweet. Save the best for last, then, I guess.
Absolutely.
Y'all take care.
You
too, man.
Have a good one.
All right. See ya.
See ya. All right. There's the report from the Toast on the Tennessee tournament there. Sounds like everybody had a great time down there.
Yeah, does sound that way. That's awesome, man. Build that tournament, give players another option out there to play some good quality ball against quality players. That's all we need. We need that going on in every little segment of the country, and That's all it takes.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, it's that time of night, guys and gals out there in the wiffle ball land. We're going to cut the power and turn the lights out. Until next week, we'll be right back here on the Fast Plastic Radio Network on the same great station, 93.5 The Rock, home of the Fast Plastic Radio. So until then, we'll see you. We're out of here.
I bid you farewell, arrivederci, sayonara, and all that sort of jazz.
What's that smell?
Adios, you chicken-plucking little stinker! Come on! Quit stalling!
As I was saying, Buster, this planet ain't big enough for the two of us. Oh, off you go!
Well, I can't do any more damage around this popsicle stand. I'm out of here! Fluffer and Succotash, I wish you'd reconsider.
We hope you enjoyed the show.
When I say whoa, I mean whoa! Do I hear amen?
You're mocking me, aren't you?
Darn, that's the end.